Hi, Claire.
Hi, Emma.
I'm on fire. Fireside.
So I've been listening to a new podcast called the Telepathy tapes. Have you heard of it?
No.
Apparently it's blowing up. It's like #1 in the US. And it's about how nonverbal people can be telepathic. And I'm having a very hard time. I'm like really grappling with whether or not I believe like what this documentarian is talking about. How do you feel about paranormal activity and just like generally telepathy?
I mean, I consider it in the camp of magic.
And do you believe in magic? Like, do you think it's possible?
No, unless someone's able to prove me otherwise. The amount of times that I have like closed my eyes and hoped for it to happen and it hasn't, I just don't understand how it could happen.
Okay, we can talk more about this, but we're gonna get started. Okay, we're gonna start on hands and knees today. We're doing a 30-minute full body today. I want your hands right below your shoulders and your knees right below your hips. And we're just gonna start with a little cat-cow to warm up. So I want you to take a big inhale, drop your stomach down towards the ground as you open up through the chest. Good. And then a big exhale through the mouth as you push through the hands, round through the spine. Nice. Good. All right. So starting with something nice and simple, just to get you aware of your breath and also to mobilize through the spine just a little bit. Beautiful. Good. Nice big inhale as you drop the belly, open up through the chest. Good. And then a big exhale as you really push the ground away from you. Try to spread your shoulder blades apart. Good. And round through the spine. Good. Okay. So notice how as Claire is doing her cat-cow, you can tell she's making it an active cat and an active cow. She's keeping her hips stacked directly above her knees and really rounding through the spine and pushing through the shoulders. Good. So you should feel like a big stretch between your shoulder blades. Good. And some engagement through the core, especially every time you're coming up into your cat. Good. So you're really drawing your belly button up to your spine as you cat. And then open up through the chest. Nice. Okay. We're going to do 3 more. Good. Nice. That exhale as you cat, as you round through the spine is really going to help you draw your belly button up and engage through the core. Good. Okay. Let's do 2 more. Beautiful. Good. And then give me 1 more. Really push through your hands, spread your shoulder blades apart, find your engagement through your core, and then I want you to meet me in neutral. So that's the position between those 2 points. Good, and hold. So find some engagement through the core. Good. All right. We're going to extend your right leg long and plant your toes right behind you. Good. And then we're going to open your left arm out to a T. Okay. Nice. Okay, we're gonna start threading the needle. So your left hand is gonna thread underneath the body. You're gonna twist from the belly button up and rotate over to the right. Your head is just gonna follow along. And then you're gonna open back up to a T. Beautiful. Okay, so starting nice and simple, but a few key things I want you to focus on here. So as you're twisting over to the right, notice how Claire's lower body is not moving at all. So everything is super still, just the belly button up is helping her rotate over to the right and then twist back and square the chest down to the ground. So this is actually the obliques working to help you twist over to the right and then to untwist and square the body. Good.
Whew.
Really
right
nice.
Shoulder,
Yes.
obliques.
Yeah, oh, it's obliques and everything else. Good. So you also want to focus here on not letting your right hip drop towards the mat. So because we don't have that knee underneath the hip, that's adding a little bit of challenge. Good. So you're actually going to feel your core engage more, but you'll also feel some lower body engaged to help keep your pelvis stable. Good. Okay. And on this next one, we're going to add on. So you're going to take a thread the needle. Good. Keep pushing out of your supporting hand, supporting shoulder. Good. You're going to square the chest to the ground. Good. So open up out of your thread the needle. And then you're going to rotate the upper body open to the left. Good. And then square the chest back down to the ground. Really nice.
You're really corkscrewing my upper
bod.
bod.
Yeah, exactly. Good. But what you really want to focus on here, and you're demonstrating this perfectly, Claire, is as you're rotating the body open, that's the new part of the exercise we just added on, you're not letting your right hip kind of fall in towards your left knee. So you're keeping those hips squared down to the ground, and you might not get as much range of motion, as much twist through the trunk as Claire is getting. That's totally fine. Make it smaller.
Whew, right
Good.
shoulder.
Yeah,
and my
good. We're
obliques.
almost done. We're almost done. Good. Let's do 2 more.
And my ass. I'm
Yeah,
not really sure why.
good. Careful of that right hip not falling down towards the ground. Keep it a little bit more lifted. Yeah, there you go. Good. Last one, and then I want you to open your left arm out to a T, and you're just gonna hold it there. Good. All right, we're gonna rock your hips back as you bend through the right knee. Your right knee is gonna drop down towards the ground, and then push back forward until your right shoulder is directly above the right wrist. Good. We're almost off of the right wrist. I know this is a big challenge for the wrist. Good. If you need a little bit more cushion, you can always roll up the mat, but I want you to try as best as you can to really push through your full right hand. Good.
Whew.
I can tell Claire's intensely breathing.
Yeah, I'm like kind of dying.
Good. Let's do 5 more. We're almost done.
My left shoulder, right shoulder, and my left glute.
Yes.
And
Good.
my obliques.
Yeah. Let's do 2 more. Good. And then you get a little child's pose. Good. Last one. Good. And slowly lower everything down. You can take a child's pose.
Ooh.
That one's sneaky.
Yeah, it really is.
Take a wide knee child's pose. And then I want you to take your right hand, so the hand that was just working to support you, and thread it underneath, and then put some weight down on your right shoulder.
Do you believe in telepathy?
They did some experiments on the show, which I can't tell if I'm just being duped, but they really make it sound so convincing. Okay, come onto your right forearm that I'm like, maybe this is real. They make it
Or
sound
maybe
so
it's just
scientific.
hypnosis.
Maybe. Okay, so I want your right elbow directly below the right shoulder, okay? Your knees are gonna be bent slightly in front of you, and then I want you to straighten and extend the top leg so it's in line with the body, okay? Good, and hold. Okay, you're just gonna lower that leg down to tap the toes to the ground, and then lift back up. Okay, so just getting used to this position. Good, all right. So if the elbow below the shoulder feels a little bit too challenging, you can always do what Claire is doing and kind of scoot the elbow a little bit further away from the body. But what I want you to focus on is pressing through the forearm so that you're engaging through that supporting shoulder. So even if you've moved the forearm away from the body, really press out of it so that you're not letting your head kind of rest on your shoulder. Good. Let's do 4 more. Nice. Every time the leg lifts, we're not letting the right oblique dump down to the ground. So find some engagement through the right oblique. Good. Let's do 2. Beautiful. Last one. Good. I want you to lift the leg up, and you're just going to hold it lifted. Okay. You're going to find an external rotation through the top leg, but your hip is still stacked on top of the bottom hip. And then we're going to draw some circles. So pick a direction. You're gonna draw small circles in one direction. Good. So I want you to feel how with that top leg externally rotated, you're gonna feel some quad helping with the circles, and you're gonna feel a little bit of glute max, so the big glute muscle helping with the circles. But I also want you to focus on keeping the hips stacked on top of each other. Okay, let's do 3.
Damn,
Good.
dude, my
For
quad
2.
and my glute.
Last one, let's switch directions. Good. For 8, 7, take it nice and slow. Find energy out of the leg and make sure you're not clenching through that top foot. For 3, for 2,
Ooh,
last one,
glutes,
lower the
quad.
leg just for a second, quick break. Okay, we're gonna lift the leg back up. We're gonna draw circles again, but we're gonna do it a little bit differently. This time I want you to internally rotate until the toes are pointing down to the ground, and now we're gonna draw circles again. So with the leg internally rotated and the toes pointing down to the ground, you're now going to feel a lot more glute med and glute min. So that side glute muscle. Let's do 3, 2.
Oh,
Last one, switch directions. Good. For 8, 7, keep pressing out of that supporting shoulder.
Top
for 3,
leg.
2, last one, and lower it down. Nice job. How you feeling?
Good. I want to know what the argument, like how do they know for sure that it's real?
I'll tell you in a second. Hold on. We're going to stay on that form. We have one last thing to do. Extend the leg one more time. You're going to reach your top arm up towards the ceiling. We're going to extend that arm all the way up overhead. And then you're going to sweep it down to your hip, and you're going to lift your leg up an extra inch to try to reach it up towards your hand. Good. And then sweep the arm back up overhead. So every time your hand is reaching towards your hip, you're letting the leg lift up 1 extra inch. Good. And as you're doing this, try to feel that glute med and glute min. So the side glute rather than the quad, lifting and lowering the leg.
Whew.
Good.
Damn, way more side glute now that my foot is in neutral.
Yeah. Good. Good. Really nice press out of the forearm. Keep engaging through the bottom oblique. Yeah, there you go. Let's do 2 more.
Whew.
Good. Last one. Hold the arm swept to the leg and just hold for 10, 9, 8, 7,
Glute.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now you can relax. Nice job. Okay. We're going to go into a little plank on your forearms. So 2 long legs behind you. I want your elbows directly below your shoulders and your hands will be clasped together. If you want a little more challenge, you can separate the hands and bring them to parallel. Good, and hold. All right, you're gonna dip your right hip down towards the ground. Okay, we're gonna slide the body forward, come a little bit higher on your toes, and then send your heels back behind you. Good, all right, keep going. So we're rocking forward and back. Good. We're just going to do 5 more. I know this is super challenging. Ugh. Really press through the forearms. Let's do 3. Good. Engage through the core, belly button to spine.
Oof, right
good
oblique.
For 2. Yeah, good. Last one, we're going to go right away to the other side. Rotate the hips. Good. And hold. Slide forward and back. So notice as Claire is doing this, her chest is still facing down to the ground. She's finding even weight in both forearms, even though the body weight is rotated over to the left. Let's do 3 more.
My oblique
Good.
left.
For 2, we're almost done. Good.
My shoulders.
Last one. Good. Slowly lower down and take a child's pose. Nice job. Yeah, that's a ton of oblique. That's super challenging. Good. All right. When you're ready, we're going to do all of that on the other side.
I'm impatiently waiting for proof of telepathy.
Oh, they do all these tests where children read their parents' minds. Like they'll show them a number or something and the kid will know what number the parent has just seen. Okay, extend your left leg long behind you, plant the toes, and you're going to open your right arm to a T. Good, and hold it there. All right. So we're going to start by threading the needle. So your chest is starting facing down to the ground. We're threading the right arm underneath. Take a twist. Belly button up is rotating you over to the left. And then unthread and square the chest back down. Good. All right. So starting off with this first layer, I want you continuously pressing through the left hand to engage the left shoulder. And the hips are staying nice and square. Okay, so same challenge here as on the other side, but now we've switched the sides. So because your left knee isn't underneath the left glute, this is going to add some additional challenge to keep the hips stable. Good, and you're going to feel a lot of oblique twisting you underneath and rotating you over to the left. Good.
Whew,
really nice.
Obliques already. You
Yes.
know what it's giving, kind of? Like Matilda, but not, because her powers were different.
Oh.
Have you ever tried to be Matilda?
What do you mean?
Like,
Have you? That feels like you have.
Yeah, but when I was like younger, it's like, move my spoon.
Let's do 2 more, and then we're adding on this next one.
Whew.
Good. On this next one, so you're going to thread, and then unthread, and then we're going to rotate the whole upper body open to the right. Good. Square it back down and thread the needle. So we're just going to do 8 like this. But as you open the body up, Think about the twist coming from the obliques, not from the arm. So it's not the arm that's kind of flinging you open to the right. It's the obliques that are twisting you there. Good. And careful of that left hip. So make sure that left hip isn't falling towards the ground as you're rotating the body open. Good. So make it a little smaller if you need to. Nice. Good. Let's do 3 more. Beautiful. Keep pressing through that supporting hand, engage through the supporting shoulder. It's really a full body exercise.
Dude, this is like surprisingly hard and really like I actually feel everything. My right glute, both my obliques, my left shoulder, the right arm.
Name all the muscles.
I'm literally just not feeling my eyes.
Okay, unthread and you're gonna square the chest down to the ground. Hold the arm out to a T. Okay, we're gonna rock the hips back. You're bending through the left knee. So rock your hips back and then straighten through that left knee as you come back up. Good, all right. So notice how Claire, as she's rocking her hips back, she's sending both butt cheeks back evenly. So it's extra challenging because only one leg is underneath the knee. Sorry, one knee is underneath the hip. Good.
Right
Let's
glute.
do 3 more. Good. We're almost off the wrist. Good. For 2. Beautiful. Good. Last one. Good. And you can lower everything down. Nice job.
I
Okay.
love that.
Quick wide knee child's pose. Very complimentary today. Okay, you're gonna thread the supporting hand underneath.
Are you reading my mind?
Sometimes I feel like I can. Although you are quite easy to read.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna come onto your left forearm. Would you say that's true? I feel like you're
Yes,
pretty easy to read.
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, come onto your left forearm. Okay, hips stacked on top of each other, knees bent slightly in front of you, and do what you did on the other side with the elbow. So if you put it a little bit in front of the shoulder on the other side, do the same thing here. You're gonna straighten through the top leg, so right leg straightens and is in line with the body. You're gonna lower the leg down, tap towards the ground, and then lift it back up. Nice, good. So as the leg lifts, we're not bending through the core. So your left oblique is staying nice and engaged and lifted off of the mat. And you're pressing through that left forearm to engage through the supporting shoulder. Good. Let's do 5 more. For 4, find the length through the right leg. Good. Last one, I want you to hold the leg lifted. Good, and hold. We're externally rotating through the top leg, toes point up, and now we're drawing circles in one direction. So pick whichever direction you want. Good. Relax through that top foot. So no need to clench through the top foot. You're just externally rotating. You're gonna feel some quad as you draw circles and some glute max on the right side. So the big glute muscle. Good. Keep those hips stacked on top of each other.
I find that putting my
Nice.
hand on my top hip helps me keep my hip stacked because it
Prevent it from rolling back. Yeah, that's good. Okay. On the next one, you're gonna switch directions. Good. Keep engaging through that oblique. Bottom oblique engages, press through the forearm. Good. Nice.
Whew.
Let's do 3.
Top glute and
For
quad.
2. Last one, hold the leg lifted and hold. We're gonna turn the toes down towards the ground. Good, and now draw circles again. So I want you to try to feel the difference of where the circle is coming from. So whereas before it was quad and glute max, now you're gonna feel a lot more side glute as you relax the toes down towards the ground to try to feel that difference. Let's do 5.
My quad is also active from before, so I feel like he's angry a little, you know?
Yeah.
But lots of side glute.
But more side glute.
Definitely.
Yep. For 2. Last one, switch directions. Nice, good. For 6. 5. I'm gonna give you a little break after this because we did on the other side. For 4. 3. 2.
Dude.
Last one, lower the leg. Quick break. Okay, you're reaching your right arm up towards the ceiling. We're not done yet, okay? You're gonna extend that top leg one more time. Sweep the arm up overhead. And then as you sweep the arm towards the hip, your right leg is going to lift up 1 extra inch. Try to let that lift come from the side glute. Good. So the glute med. Good. So you're relaxing the toes as much as you can down towards the ground. Good. Yeah, nice. Good.
Neutral foot, always more side glute, but quad
Yes.
still angry.
Yeah. People tend to clench in their foot as they're doing this, or like aggressively point or aggressively flex. And there's a time and a place for that, but you don't really need to do that if you want to engage your glute more.
Oh,
Good.
dude.
Let's do 2 more. Really nice. Good. See if you can sweep the arm all the way overhead, full range of motion. Good. Last one, hold the arm towards the hip. Just hold the leg lifted and hold. Press out of the supporting forearm. Press out of the oblique for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower everything down. Nice job.
Dude, my quads are really in for the party today.
All right, we're coming all the way up to stand. We're gonna get a little more back of the leg right now. Okay, so I want you to start with your feet in parallel, with your feet directly below your hip sockets, and hands are gonna be on your hips. All right, we're gonna start with a hinge. So you're gonna send your butt back in space behind you as you crease through the hips and bend through the knees. And then slowly push through the heels to come all the way up to stand. Good. All right, so keep going. Every time you come into your hinge and squat, I want you to think about really poking your butt back behind you. So people have a tendency to tuck the pelvis as they come into their hinge and squat, and you're not gonna engage through the glutes as much. You're not like stretching the muscle fibers as much if you're tucking through the pelvis. Good. Whew. All right. You should feel like you're stretching the hamstrings, stretching through the glutes every time you send your butt back in space behind you. And then almost like an elastic band, you're unstretching as you come up to stand. Good.
Back of thighs, gluteus.
Yeah. Good. That's what we want. Yeah, you should feel a lot of butt. Let's do 2 more and make sure you're breathing through this exercise so you're still engaging through the core to protect the low back and keeping the breath going. Okay. 2 more. Beautiful. Good. On this next one, I want you to come into your squat and you're gonna hold your squat. Good. Both arms are gonna lift off of your hips and you're gonna reach them down towards the ground in parallel to a 45-degree angle. Good. And you're gonna hold them there. And then your right arm is just gonna open out to a T. So you're making a little L shape with your hands. Good. All right. Just the upper body is rotating open to the right. So everything belly button up is rotating to the right, and then square everything back down to where you came from, back to your L shape. Good. All right, we're gonna keep going. So you're finding even pressure in both feet and really isolating this movement through the obliques. So feel how the obliques are what's helping you open your chest over to the right. Good, and then square everything back. This is actually super challenging if you take it super slow and try to internalize it.
It's really hard not to move my hips. They really want to move.
Yeah. Your
Okay,
one of your hips wants to start to follow a little bit. So try to prevent that from happening. Good.
Okay, my right shoulder and my right arm right now.
Good. Just holding them up there. Let's do 2 more. Good. Last one, and then square the chest back forward, come back into your L shape and hold. All right. Your left foot is gonna lift off of the ground. You're gonna send your left toes back behind you like a scooter, and then tap the toes back to where they came from. Good. Oof. Okay, so you can be pretty light on those toes as you send them back and forward, but I want you to do exactly what Claire is doing, which is keeping your hips squared towards the point in front of you as you extend the leg and then tap the toes back in. Good. Let's do 6 more. Good. For 5. Beautiful. Take it a little slower and make sure you're not unbending through the right knee. Keep stretching your butt back behind you for 2. Good. Last one. Good. I want you to hold the left toes back behind you and hold. All right.
Right glute.
Left arm reaches up overhead. So you're extending the left arm up overhead and then lower the arm back down. So you're back to that L shape. You should also be feeling a ton of right shoulder, just holding that arm there.
Yeah, right
Good.
shoulder, right glute. Not happy.
Yes.
But also I'm loving this.
Good. Nice. So you're trying to find length. Good. Every time you reach the left arm up. Good. Feel how the obliques also engage a little bit every time you reach the arm up towards the ceiling. Good.
Oh,
Along
dude,
with
my right glute.
the glute. Yeah. We just have pulses after this. Let's do 3 more. Good. For 2.
Oh my God.
Good. Last one, hold the arm lifted, and we're just gonna pulse into the supporting leg. So little pulses of the supporting leg. Every time you pulse, see if you can send your butt back behind you rather than sending the knee forward. Good. Let's do 5, 4,
Oh my God.
3, 2, 1. Come all the way up to stand. Nice job.
That was a nice little one.
Yeah,
That was really nice.
I was very excited about it. Okay,
Yeah, it's
we're
good.
gonna do the other side.
Very good.
Okay, we're gonna start with a few squats and hinges, but not as many as the other side. Okay, feet in parallel, hips width distance apart, hands on your hips. Okay, we're gonna stretch your butt back in space behind you as you bend through the knees, and then come all the way up to stand. Good. Beautiful. Okay, we're just gonna do 5 of these. Good. So find that crease through the hips. You're sending your chest forward and making sure that you're not tucking the pelvis at the bottom. So really poke the butt out without arching through the low back. It's a little bit finicky, but it's very important to get the hinge right. Good. Let's do 1 more. And on this next one, come into your squat and you're gonna hold the squat. Good. All right. Both arms are gonna reach forward on that low diagonal. Okay, and then the left arm is gonna open out to a T. So we're doing everything we did on the other side. You're gonna rotate belly button up over to the left. Good, and then square it back. Arms come back to that L shape. Nice, good. Okay, so same thing here. You're trying to isolate this movement from the belly button up. Everything belly button down is staying square. Keep stretching your butt back in space behind you. Good. Beautiful. Good. And notice how Claire is trying to prevent her hips from shifting every time she rotates. Good. Let's do 3 more.
You knew what I was thinking there.
Good. Yeah. For 2. Good. Last one. Come back to your L shape of the arms and hold. Okay. Claire wanted 1 more. Good.
Sorry.
And hold. Okay. You're going to tap your right toes back in space behind you. Good, and then tap them back forward.
Whew.
Okay, so we're going into a little scooter. All of your weight is now in your left heel. Good, to really connect to the left glute. Good. Beautiful. Good.
Whew.
You should be feeling the tops of the shoulders. Good, and a ton of supporting glute.
Whew.
Good. Let's do 5 more. For 4, keep stretching your hips back in space behind you. Keep engaging through the core to protect the low back. Good.
Glute.
Let's do 2 more. Last one. Good. Hold your right toes back in space behind you and hold. Okay. Right arm reaches all the way up overhead. Good. And then lower it back down.
Dude, he's so tired, my right
Good.
arm.
We're almost done. We're almost done. I promise. Good. Last little bit. Okay, keep going. We have pulses after this, and then we're off the legs. Good. Let's do 3 more. Find length through the arm. Good. Keep those hips squared forward. For 2.
Whew.
Good. Last one. Good. Hold the arm overhead and just hold. Pulse into the supporting leg. So think stretching your butt back behind you rather than sending the knee forward. Good.
Whew.
Let's do 6.
Left
5.
glute.
For 4, almost done. For 3, 2, 1, and come all the way up to stand. Good job. All right, Let's take a quick figure 4 stretch to end. Come all the way down onto your back. Okay. And you're gonna cross your right ankle over the left knee. Okay, and grab around either the back of the thigh, or you can grab the top of the shin if that feels more comfortable for you. But what's most important is think about flexing that top foot and then grounding through the tailbone as you slowly pull the left leg towards you. So this should feel like a big stretch for the right glute.
What made you start the podcast?
I was road tripping and it was the #1 podcast. And I feel like, I don't know, normally I'm not that interested in what most people are listening to, but it sounded more interesting than like a news podcast.
Yeah.
So I feel like you should listen to it. People, yeah, switch to the other side. People are not loving it, to be honest.
I wonder why it's #1 then. Like, why are people listening to it?
I mean, it's very interesting. I think people just think it's a little bit of a hoax. So I'm very intrigued if you do listen to it, what you think. Okay. Take a stretch, make sure you're flexing the top foot, and you're all done.
Wow, thank you so much.
Great job.
That was amazing. 10 out of 10.
Bye.
Toodaloo.